Killer Elite, which is Jason Statham. Jason Statham.
Thank you.
Everyone's doing that at the moment.
When you say everyone is doing it,
Everyone's talking like that. I don't mean everyone's going Jason Statham. There's a Jason Statham movie out on DVD this week, Blitz, which is actually, for my money, better. This has one of those with and casts, so it's either with or and Bob De Niro and Clive Owen, and it's set in the 1980s, and the story is that Jason Statham is tied up in all sort of espionage, black ops stuff. His mentor is Robert De Niro. They do various jobs. Things go awry. Robert De Niro ends up in a terrible situation, which Jason Statham, in order to get him out of it, has to go and do a job which he doesn't want to do. It's that called out of retirement. It's the 80s. Everyone's got a lot of stubble. Here's a clip.
Look, there's only one more to go. After this is done, I'll get you boys a nice, cushy job in the sun.
There is no after this.
I'm a vulture. I live off killers. Gives me a unique perspective. Have you heard of the 2%? That's you. Davis, the SAS, all you lot. Mercenaries, hitmen, heroes. You're all part of that 2% of men who are natural killers. That's why you'll never get out. You can't run away from who you are, Danny.
That's not who I am. That's what I've done.
In it.
it's getting lower and lower. I mean, Nick Nolte was gruff. That's even gruffer.
Thing is, I'm a Jason Statham fan, but the stuff I really like Jason Statham in is the pure Jason Statham movie. It's The Transporter, right? It's Jason and a car and a bit when he gets his shirt off and wrestles somebody in oil, right? It's Blitz, when he's a cop on the edge. And at the beginning, he tells a psychiatrist, no one gets inside my head. All right?
So this isn't pure.
Well, no,
this is diluted Statham.
No, what it is it's trying to up its game. I mean, it's got Bob De Niro. Although De Niro being in a movie now is very different to De Niro being in a movie back in. Stop looking at the TV screens.
I'm just checking international news and developing stories.
Good. Well, stop it. Listen to me. It's more interesting.
And there's a kind of a 70s sitcom, which
I'm sure there is. But stop looking at it. Robert De Niro now does an awful lot of earning his keep by doing not a huge amount of appearing in a film for which he'll take a sort of fairly decent amount of money. Like he was in that film, the Bradley Cooper movie.
Can I take my eyes off you just to read other things?
Can take my eyes off you. Yes, you can, but just not to look at the TV screen behind me. And, Clive Owen is a very, very good actor and a proper character actor who here is modelling the most appalling 80s tash. And there's an awful lot of plot and an awful lot of business and an awful lot of intrigue and an awful lot of travelling, and then they're here and then they're in Paris, then they're over in the East, then there's a bit in London. And you keep thinking all the way through, that's not really what I go to see a Jason Statham movie for. I like Jason Statham when he does the thing that Jason Statham does. And in fact, he's developed a very interesting career in doing the thing that he does. The problem with this is it feels like it's trying to move up to a different level and actually is moving down. It's much less exciting than it ought to be. It's much more convoluted than it needs to be. It doesn't have any of the humour or the kind of the wry wit that makes the best Jason Statham works. Robert De Niro is indeed in it and Robert De Niro. He's in it for a bit and then he disappears for a very, very long time and then he comes back again and he does the Robert De Niro thing about, I'm sure that he researched his part, very, very solidly, but it is an and Robert De Niro in exactly the same way as he is in, what's the name of the Bradley Cooper film? It's not Insidious, Mac Overdrive, the one that you interviewed Bradley Cooper for. What's it called?
Was he in the same interview as Bethany Hamilton?
Yes, he was.
Limitless.
Limitless, thank you very much. Is somebody just saying that to you in the control room?
Well, I heard a voice in my head.
Robin is actually he's working you with his foot, isn't he? He's the controller who is telling you everything you know. Anyway, all you need to know about Killer Elite in the end is, for a film which has Jason Statham, Clive Owen and Robert De Niro, it's surprisingly uninteresting. The 80s stuff, the 80s setting is because it's at some point there is some reality in the background of all of this, is as authentic as it needs to be, but in fact it just all looks a bit grubby and a bit like the 80s. You think, yeah, I'm kind of glad that's gone. This feels like a throwback movie. It didn't need to be there. Certainly not Jason's best work, and he didn't benefit from having Robert De Niro on screen with him. He is much better when the movie is pegged to him. Him and Paddy Considine together in Blitz, that's something. Him and Robert De Niro in this, it's like, yeah, not really.
We're hoping Paddy Considine is going to be on the show fairly shortly.
Paddy Considine is great. I'd have him over Robert De Niro.